It's time for all your local high school football scores and highlights. It's Touchdown Friday Night with Kenny Hawkins and Jesse Kroll. Sponsored locally by Food City, HMG Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Champion Chevrolet, Subway, and the UPS Store. It's Touchdown Friday Night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Touchdown Friday Night, the largest high school football show in Tennessee and one of the largest in Virginia. I'm Kenny Hawkins along with my tag team partner, Jesse Kroll, and tonight, 15 games on tap. But before we get this train rolling, here's Jesse with the B-Tracker top tackle of the night.
Kenny, we're going to get after it right now. Yeah, right away.
That was a train right there.
I was going to say, I can barely get to the teams right now. We got Cherokee and we've got, Cherokee. They faced off with, I'm having a brain fart. Daniel Boone. There you go, Kenny. We got it right here. But, Daniel Boone was looking to just bring the lumber on this play and to get the punt going, but they really can't do anything because Cherokee's bringing the lumber as well. Honestly, it was a great game between these two. We'll have the highlights coming up. Kenny?
Tartar Jack right there. Thanks, Jesse. We start tonight here in town where the Science Hill Hilltoppers had a chance to lock in the top spot in the Region 1 6A. But first, they would have to take down Knoxville Bearden. We take you to Kermit Tipton Stadium where the game was tied at 17-all in the third quarter. Bearden on the 2-yard line. Colin Ironside goes play action, rolls left, hits Carson Hammond for the score to give the Bulldogs a 24-17 lead. Toppers would cut into the lead when Cade Hensley boots a 28-yard field goal through the uprights. Science Hill trailed 24-20. Bulldogs would put this one out of reach. 2:56 to go in the game when Ironside finds Hayden Candela for the touchdown. 31-20, Bearden leading. They would go on to win by the score, ending the Toppers' hopes of being the #1 seed in the Region 1 6A. Bearden with the victory tonight, 31-20 over Science Hill. It was Farragut over Jefferson County, 39-34. To the Stone Castle, Tennessee High hosting Sullivan South tonight. South Ethan Bergeron tries to pitch to Julian Reed, but it hits the turf, and the Vikings will recover. A few plays later, Vikings Isaiah Smith on the end around, and he'll take it all the way to the end zone for the first score of the game. Vikings on top 7-0. Second quarter, Vikings looking for more. Cole McBrayer sets up the screen to Nathan Johnson. Johnson will get an escort down the sideline into the end zone for the score to make it 14-0 Vikings. Tennessee High went on to win easily tonight by the final of 42-7 over South. It was Hardin Valley winning over Morristown West 63-14. Dobbins Bennett on the road taking on Alcoa tonight. Second half action, Alcoa's defense was on a roll. Solomon Tyson brings the quarterback down hard. Good start for Alcoa right there. Tornado defense responds. Sam Balt throws a perfect ball into the end zone, finding Isaiah Cox for the touchdown, and Alcoa was on top of this game 14-6. Here's that Alcoa defense again. Isaiah Cox making plays on both sides of the ball. Another sack right there.
Just getting after it on
Here
both
come the
sides
Tornadoes
right
again on offense. Ahmad Sankey takes a handoff 40 yards all the way into the Tornado red zone. And then Sankey again is going to finish the job with a touchdown. Alcoa led 21-6. And good news for Dobbins Bennett because of the Science Hill loss. DB wins the region, even though they lost tonight by the final of 21-6. It was Volunteer over Cott County 35-12. Elizabethton taking on Sullivan Central. Slight issue with the lighting tonight at Bernie Webb Field. It delayed the game for a while. Elizabethton would get on the board quickly. 7:06 or 9:06 in the first quarter. 7-0. Making short work of the series for the Cyclones, quarterback Bryson Rollins hands off to Nate Stevens, who would push his way through and into the end zone, putting another 6 points on the board. PAT to follow would miss, so that left the score 13-0. Sullivan Central would find themselves in another stalled series, would kick off to the Cyclones again. Rollins would lead his team downfield into the red zone again, but taking the snap for this play is Cade Maupin, who would find the Cougars soft spot as he battles his way into the end zone, putting the Cyclones up 20-0. Cougars did not get anything going. It was all Elizabethton tonight. They went on to win that final 37-0, and Granger over Union County 24-20. Jesse.
Thanks, Kenny. The Patriot Pasture where Sullivan East took on Greenville. The Green Devils were already up 42-0. And this when we first got here in East. Well, they just kept on falling. Green Devils defense was stubborn today. Host of Green Devils meets the quarterback in the backfield. Now, a few plays later, White's going to try to step up. He fumbles the ball in that Green Devils defense. Once again, being stubborn. They're going to recover the fumble on the very next play. Isaac Brown on the handoff in the huge hole. And he's going to break a couple tackles and make it to the promised land. No one's even close to him. That's another 6 for them, making it 48-0. And the Green Devils are going to win big Well, no surprise here, 55-14, and Unicoi County is going to shut out Johnson County 34-0. Over in Greene County, there was plenty of action, and we'll actually get started with South Greene battling Happy Valley. The Rebels led 12-0 coming out of the half. Now, Luke Myers, he looks like he might be in some trouble here, but the sophomore is a madman in the backfield. Not only does he get out of some trouble, he puts a defender on ice skates, throwing on the brakes here, and he's actually going to convert the first down. Now, Happy Valley would buckle down. A plethora of Warriors get in the backfield, halting the ball carrier on this one, and if some defense is good, more's better. Once again, more gang tackling for Happy Valley, and the coaches gotta love seeing those defenders run to the ball and having a big old group of them. Now, just like Happy Valley, South Greene was able to wrangle down the backs. Corey Hauser lassos Will Tittle, and the Rebels just continue to dominate on both sides of the ball, and they're gonna win in this one, 25-6. In North Greene, well, they're gonna lose to Claiborne 37-0. Now we're going to stay in Greene County. West Greene taking on Chucky Doke in the first quarter. Damian Butteris, he's going to pump the piston, and that's actually going to make a couple of defenders miss, and he's going to just make some cutbacks as well, diving for the end zone. That's 6. Now the PAT would be blocked, so that's going to make it 6-0 in the first quarter. Now Chucky Doke's offense, they showed some life as well. Former Player of the Week, Matthew Palazzo, rolls out and connects with Evan Mervin, and he's going to pick up plenty of yak on this one, get wrangled down. They didn't have a flag on that play. It might have been a horse collar right there, but who knows on that one. Now, unfortunately, that stall would come to a halt, and the Black Knights do get in the red zone, but the snap is bobbled there, and it's recovered by the Buffaloes. So it's 6-0 Buffaloes after the first quarter, but Chucky Doke does make the most of this red zone trip here. Cutshaw redeeming himself, scoring on the touchdown. They would go for 2. It would be flagged, so it'd be 6-6, but this one's going to come back and forth, I should say. And Chucky Doke, 8-6. Actually, I guess the one that they got flagged on, they must have converted on that one, so that looks more like a hockey score than a football score on that one. And Unaka, they beat Sunbright 30-12. Now that's 7 down, and we still got 8 more to go as we finish off Tennessee before heading to Southwest Virginia. But first, here's the Sign So Marching Band to help take us to break.